A quick recap of what we have read so far. We started in the first chapter, the human condition, and the first section, old age, illness, and death. We started off with point 1, aging and death. Basically, it's about everyone, whether you are rich, whether you are affluent householders, whether you are affluent courtiers, have great wealth, great property, abundant gold and silver, are not free from aging and death. All the way until the monks, even the monks who are arahants, even for them, this body is subject to breaking up, subject to being laid down. The second point that we read, the simile of the mountain, a conversation of the Buddha with the king. So what happens then if everyone is subject to aging and death? Then the conclusion here is by the king. What else should be done but live by the Dharma, to live righteously and to do wholesome and meritorious deeds? So this is where the Buddha invites people to live in a wholesome way. The third point that we read, the 3 divine messengers. What are the 3? The first, aging, and aging men or women. And the description here is pretty thorough. A woman or man, 80, 90, 100 years old, frail, bent like a rope bracket, crook, leaning on a stick, shakily going along, ailing, youth and figure gone, with broken teeth, with grey and scanty hair or bald, wrinkled with blotched limbs. Yeah. Aging, the first divine messenger. The second divine messenger, a woman or man who is sick and in pain. Yeah. Basically illness. Let me highlight this. The third divine messenger is the sight of a corpse, a woman or man 2 or 3 days dead. So then what if we encounter these 3 divine messengers? Then I too am subject to these 3 conditions: aging, sickness, and death, and cannot escape it. Let me now do noble deeds by body, speech, and mind. Yeah, this is also the Buddha trying to direct us to live in a wholesome way, considering these conditions of aging, sickness, and death. Now we're going to start reading the second section, the tribulations of unreflective living. What does tribulation means again? It's something that causes great suffering if, unreflective living here, if we don't live with reflection, with contemplation. Now let's take a look at the first sutta, the dark of painful feeling. Monks, when the uninstructed worldling experiences a painful feeling, he sorrows, grieves, and laments. He weeps, beating his breast, and becomes distraught. He feels 2 feelings, a bodily one and a mental one. Suppose they were to strike a man with a dart, and then strike him immediately afterward with a second dart, so that the man would feel a feeling caused by 2 darts. So too, when the uninstructed worldling experiences a painful feeling, he feels 2 feelings, a bodily one and a mental one. Yeah, this is what happens to the uninstructed worldling. So basically, all of us. Okay, let me take a look at these words. Lament. A passionate expression of grief or sorrow. Second definition, a song, piece of music, or poem expressing sorrow. The third, an expression of regret or disappointment or complaint. He sorrows, grieves, laments. And he weeps, crying, beating his breast, become distraught. And this is how uninstructed wording feels two feelings. Strike once is not enough. Strike once again. Okay, that's the first paragraph. The next paragraph, Sister Saike, would you like to read?
While experiencing that same painful feeling, he harbors aversion towards it. When he harbors aversion towards painful feeling, the underlying tendency to aversion towards painful feeling lies behind this. While experiencing painful feeling, he seeks delight in sensual pleasure. For what reason? Because the uninstructed worldling does not know of any escape from painful feeling other than sensual pleasure. When he seeks delight in sensual pleasure, the underlying tendency to lust for pleasant feeling lies behind this. He does not understand as it really is the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of these feelings. When he does not understand these things, the underlying tendency to ignorance in regard to neither painful nor pleasant feeling lies behind this.
Second. So let's take a look at the footnotes first. Footnotes number 5. The underlying tendencies, anusaya, are dispositions toward the defilements that lie dormant in the mind and become active when provoked. Some texts, such as the present one, mention 3 underlying tendencies. The tendency to lust, raga nusaya, for pleasant feeling, to aversion, patiga nusaya, for painful feeling, and to ignorance, avijja nusaya, in regard to neither painful nor pleasant feeling. Other texts mention 7 underlying tendencies: to sensual lust, aversion, views, doubt, conceit, attachment to existence, and ignorance. That's footnotes number 5, talking about the underlying tendencies. Footnotes number 6. Okay. From SPK, the commentary, the escape is concentration, the path and the fruit. He does not know this. The only escape he knows is sensual pleasure. Yeah. So according to the commentary, there is an escape for the noble disciple. The true escape is concentration, the path, and the fruit. But because we don't know this, us, the uninstructed worldling, we only know the escape of sensual pleasure. Which is quite true if you think about it. Most people, because they don't know there is a path, there's other escapes. That's why they seek the only escape that they know, sensual pleasures. And then footnotes number 7. These 5 terms constitute a major pattern for contemplation. The origin and the passing away, samudaya, attha, nama, point to the characteristic of impermanence. On the triad of gratification, danger, and escape, asada, adinava, nisarana, see a later page at 186 and 187. Okay, what are these 5 terms? This one. The origin, the passing away, the gratification, danger, and escape. These 5 terms is what the footnotes is referring to. A major pattern for contemplation. We will revisit this in the future at page 186.
Marcel, what is gratification? Dictionary.
Gratification is, in the context of sensual pleasure, is whatever we get from that. For example, let's say food. Then if you find the food tasty, then that food is the gratification, the tastiness, the pleasure that we get from the sensual pleasures that we enjoy. And then, that's a good question. Then what is the danger? If we become attached to this gratification, and then we will end up suffering because of this gratification. And what is this escape? Back again to the footnotes. Number 6 is the path itself. Concentration, the path, and the fruit is the actual escape of this gratification. There's one sutta that is quite illustrative of this. It's probably reflecting in this page 186. Shall we take a look now? Maybe. Very quickly. Gratification, danger, and escape. This is at chapter 6, deepening one's perspective on the world. This is a very short sutta. We can read very quickly. If there were no gratification, if monks, there were no gratification in the world, beings would not become enamored with the world. But because there is gratification in the world, beings become enamored with it. If there were no danger in the world, beings would not become disenchanted with the world. But because there is danger in the world, beings become disenchanted with it. If there were no escape from the world, beings could not escape from it. But as there is an escape from the world, beings can escape from it. This is taken from Anguttara Nikaya 3102. This might not explain exactly what is the gratification, danger, and escape. So let's see if there's any other explanation. It's actually the next sutta where it explains more fully. The full understanding of sensual pleasures is one of the explanation. Let me see. This one is when the question is asked, what is the gratification? What is the danger? What is the escape in the case of sensual pleasures? So let me put blue in this. And then the question is further explored. What is the gratification, danger, and escape? These 3 triads in case of form. This one is let me highlight this. Form, in the case of feelings. So the Buddha breaks it down into these 2 aggregates. Firstly, form and feelings. This paragraph explains further gratification in the case of sensual pleasures. Firstly, the Buddha starts with defining what are sensual pleasures. The Buddha starts with the 5 courts of sensual pleasures. What are the 5? Forms cognizable by the eye, wish for, desirable, agreeable, and likable. connected with sensual desire, provocative of lust. And then repeats with sounds, repeats with odors, repeats with flavors, tactile objects. Yeah, so this is how the Buddha defined the 5 chords of sensual pleasures. So this is the explanation. Now, the pleasure and joy that arise dependent on these 5 chords of sensual pleasures are the gratification in the case of sensual pleasures. And then the next paragraph is explaining the danger in the case of sensual pleasures. Yeah. This explanation is pretty extensive for this sutta. Let's take a look quickly. Firstly, starts from how a person makes a living, whatever it may be. It can be checking, accounting, calculating, farming, trading, husbandry, archery, the royal service, whatever craft it may be. Firstly, that person has to put in an effort, face cold heat, injured by contact, reached there by hunger and thirst, and this is the first danger in the case of sensual pleasure. And second, afterwards, while this clansman makes an effort, and then the effort doesn't bear results, doesn't bear fruits, my work is in vain, my effort is fruitless. This guy, the clansman, laments. This is the second danger in the case of sensual pleasures. And then the third one, even if he gains something from it, he experiences pain and grief in protecting it. How can I protect this from kings or thieves, from fire, from water, or for unloved heirs to make off with it? So when he starts to protect it, and then he grieves and he has sorrows, griefs and laments. Okay, the first one, even after guarding it, he still lost his stuff. He said, I no longer have my property, and then he becomes, suffering comes to him. Yeah, this is the third danger. Yeah, this one is a further explanation. And sometimes, not just that, because of sensual pleasures, everyone quarrels with everyone. Here, the Buddha listed out many combinations. Kings with kings, Khatyas with Khatyas, Brahmins with Brahmins, householders with householders, mothers quarrel with sons. Yeah, you can see this in the news. When, let's say, a parent passes away, and then son starts to sue each other, trying to get the property, the inheritance, all this stuff. Okay, you can read further if you want to understand these 3 triads, but I'm going to stop now. Any?
Thank you. I'll go and read. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. We will read this again anyway in the future. Okay, any questions or comments? Yeah, that's a good question. So feel free to ask questions if you have. If something is unclear to you. If no question, I think we can stop here for today. Let's do a dedication. 厌消三障就烦恼，厌得智慧真明了。普厌罪障细消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Here we meet again. May we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a contemplative Friday ahead. Contemplating the gratification, danger, and escape. Thanks,
And
everyone.
also the origin and the passing, right?
Oh,
The arising, falling, arising.
yes. Okay, thanks everyone for participating. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.